Antonio,
What's going on, boss man?
thank you so much for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Much appreciated.
And you found me where?
X.
That's unbelievable, man. Nobody finds me on X. Not even the X's find me on X. It's crazy.
That's funny.
It's crazy, man.
Why don't you want to start off and tell us a little bit about yourself, so the audience has a kind of background on who you are, what you do, all those good things?
Absolutely. So, to everyone out there watching in podcast land, I'm a realtor with Realty of America. I've been a realtor for probably about 10 years. I specialize in Chicago. I just started a new YouTube channel called Living in Chicago, Illinois. Nice. I'm literally like filming the first episodes now. I bought a drone yesterday, a 4K drone.
Nice.
So I can give the viewers what they deserve, you know. But I'm a realtor. My wife's a realtor, and we've been doing it for a while. So
that's awesome. So you guys, I'm assuming you work together?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
You run a team?
Yeah, you know what? It's on paper, we're not a team, but we're married. All the money goes in the same bank account. You know, everything that I sell goes in her name. Just this, and that's like the brokerage realtors out there. They know what's going on. So like, you know, we capitalize on the fact that we're together and everything goes together. But you know, we're a team.
It's for the numbers, right?
Yeah,
so you
for the
hit
numbers.
MLS
For the numbers.
stats. Yeah.
When you're a realtor, you want to look good on paper. But the thing is, like, if you pull up my name, it looks like I don't sell anything, which sucks. But you know, all the glory goes to the wife. She gave me the 2 kids. You know, went through the pain, so she can have the little awards and stuff like that. I just, you know, I like meeting people and I like selling real estate. So,
nice. How old are your kids?
My son is 15. Actually, yeah, he just turned 15.
He's about to get his license.
Yeah, something like that, right? And my daughter just turned 17. Yeah. Actually, yeah, there you go. 15 and 17.
Your insurance premiums are probably real high on the autos if they're driving.
Well, no, they're not driving. They're not driving. No, man. It's this thing too, because it's like my son can't wait to get his license. You know? My daughter doesn't want nothing to do with it.
Interesting.
Yeah, she wants nothing to do with it.
Opposites, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh, they are. In many ways they're opposites.
Interesting.
Yeah, in many ways.
I'm getting married in September, and hopefully kids right after. Minimum of 4 kids.
Well, you said minimum of 4.
Wait till I have one. Right?
Wait till he has one. Everybody, wait till she has one. Okay. You know, then it's gonna be for you. The dream is gonna be living strong, but she's gonna be like, "Hey, pump the brakes, big boy." One more, and we're good. But if she can do it, man, she can do it.
I hope so.
I wanted 4 kids.
Yeah.
So my daughter's name, she's the firstborn, is Kayla.
Okay.
And my son's name is Antonio, is after me, right?
Nice.
So I actually had 2 more names lined up. I had Brandon and I had Emily.
Nice.
So in the house, I look at my wife and I'm like, should be nice right now to be talking to Emily, but it's not, you know, Brandon's not coming either. And
so she's the one that was like, no more, we're done.
You know, yeah, and you know, for you know what, and basically what had happened was like the first time we had a kid, my daughter Kayla, we were in the hospital. She had the baby, and they put her in a room where there was somebody else in the room, and they're like, you can't stay overnight because of the privacy issues that we're having with the other person in the room. They go, so feel free to go home, and plus it was like 5 hours away from me coming back anyway, right? So I go, fine, I went home. When I came back the next morning, I came back and I went looking for my wife, you know, in the maternity ward.
Wait, so she stayed overnight?
Of course.
And you had to go home?
I had to go home.
For privacy reasons?
Because she was in a room, they were overbooked. So
that's exactly why we're not doing no hospital bullshit.
So when I came back, I went looking for her. And they're like, what's your wife's name? I go, Vernice. And they're like, oh, we don't, hold on 1 second. So they can't find her. And all of a sudden, one of the nurse passes by and she goes, oh, that was the lady that needed the blood transfusion last night.
What?
And I'm like, what do you mean? So they take me upstairs. They're like, listen, we got to talk to you. And I go, what do you mean? Okay, about what? They go, last night when you left, your wife started hemorrhaging blood. And we had to do an emergency surgery on her. And she needed a blood transfusion. So she's upstairs still getting the blood.
What?
And I'm like, what the hell's going on? Now, my wife is already light-skinned already as it is. When they open the door and it was like Into the Vampire. She was literally like this, like a cross like this, getting blood. And I'm like, I looked at her, I'm like, what the hell happened? She's like, when you left, I basically died. And I'm like, there's no way. And the way she described to me what happened to her, what was going on, what she saw, I was like, this is insane. So they didn't call me. The hospital didn't call me.
Okay, so where do you go with that, right? So because it's like, yes, if she wasn't at the hospital, it could have been very bad.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Because if she would have started losing blood, then you got like all the time it takes to get to the hospital, all these things, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, they didn't let you stay, which I think is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like they're like, you got to go home
insane.
for privacy issues.
Yeah,
Are you
man,
fucking kidding me?
I went home, and when I woke up in the morning, I went and I got her flowers. I got her, got her some, some snacks.
Yeah.
A blanket and all that, baby clothes. Got the baby bag ready anyway. So when I went back, I was expecting to have my moment with my daughter and my wife.
Yeah.
And then to find out that she basically almost died. I mean,
Holy shit.
The worst part about it for her, she goes, Tony, the pregnancy, the delivery was nothing compared to what happened last night. She goes,
wow.
She complained to the nurse that she was feeling blood and she was feeling weird. And when she looked down, she saw blood, so she stood up to use the bathroom. And when she stood up to use the bathroom, all of a sudden the blood went, fell on the floor. And what they did to her was they threw her on the gurney and proceeded to like press on her stomach. She goes, there was like 10 people pushing on her stomach, trying to stop the blood, I guess, from clotting or whatever. I think that was the risk. But she's like the pain that they were holding her arms because of how painful it was. So they're holding her arms, and then other doctors are like punching her in the stomach.
Oh my God.
She's on a gurney. She's losing blood. She said she started to see silver and gray, and they made her sign for the operation. They're like, "There's no time to call your husband. Sign here." And she's like, poor girl, and and then that was it. So 2 years later, we had my son.
Okay.
And he just right out.
Really?
Yeah, it was good, and we had him in Indiana.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I moved to Maryville because at the time I was working for AT&T, but we moved to Indiana, and he was born in Maryville, Indiana. So we call him. His name is Tony or Antonio. So I call him Indiana Tone. Indiana Tone. I'm a big Indiana Jones fan, so
nice.
yeah, Indiana Tone. So
Does it go? Is that the inspo for the hat?
No,
I don't know too much about Indiana Jones, to be honest. So
really, have you ever watched it?
like, not really. No.
Are you you serious?
No, I'm dead serious.
Okay, I'm gonna give you 4 movies to watch.
Okay.
Okay, but you gotta do me.
Can I tell you something about
Tell me.
like Argent? So it's hard for me to watch movies now.
Why?
Because my attention span's so short because of what social media did to us.
Oh, jeez.
I'm one of those guys. Like,
but that's the thing, though.
You know what I mean? It's like I'd rather pull up my phone.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good for you, and it's gonna be good for your listeners. So, I get it. I'm 43. I can't imagine you're
27.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, yeah, man. Here's a couple of movies you should watch if you haven't watched them already. You got to watch Indiana Jones. Okay, that's just a given, right? And part 1, watch the first one.
Okay.
You'll like it. And you'll like it enough that it'll force you to the next one. Have you ever seen Ghostbusters?
Yes.
Part 1?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a great
Have
classic.
you seen
Like,
Ghostbusters 2?
when was it made? Was it made like 2015 or something?
It was Ghostbusters 2. They fight Vigo, like a painting. They fight a painting. Okay, no, you haven't seen it. Okay. You have to see Ghostbusters 2, because that's a great movie too. Back to the Future?
Yes.
Thank God. Okay.
Yes.
Close. I'm going to give you one that, I'm going to give you a real cheesy one. Have you ever seen The Goonies?
Yes.
Yeah, The Goonies is
Baby Ruth.
Baby Ruth. Yeah, you got to see The Goonies. Obviously,
That's a legendary movie.
Yeah,
That's such a good
movie.
one.
Have you seen Jaws?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
What other movie can I give you that was good? Have you ever seen Sylvester Stallone's Lockup? There's a movie called Lockup that he did back in the day.
Okay.
I
love his story, by the way.
Dude, man, I'm a big fan of Sylvester Stallone.
It's crazy.
He is crazy. They didn't want him to be Rocky.
Yeah,
They think it was good enough.
He could barely talk, right? He had a speech impediment,
yeah.
all these things, and then they were saying that he couldn't act, and then he started writing his own movies.
Oh yeah, man, you can't hold down greatness, man.
I lived in New York for a year when I was 18. Studied acting at Lee Strasberg for a semester. I didn't really like it, to be honest. Like, it wasn't my thing, but I was doing like the acting, modeling stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I learned a lot about him during those times. A lot of respect for what he did. It's super cool.
What did you act in? Did you do anything?
So I was in an independent film, but I was mainly like doing modeling, which was print. I was doing some print stuff. Again, I was 18. I had never, I grew up in a very small town, Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
40,000 people.
Okay.
So going from there to New York, I was just like culture shock. Like, I didn't know how to work hard. Like, I was 18.
Yeah.
I had never had a job. I was in sports. in high school, so I never worked. So this was all like, it just amplified and excelled like how fast I grew up and how responsible I came. Like it was really like, it kicked the shit out of me. But then I became like pretty responsible after that. I was like, okay, like I have to work for what I want. Like everybody's out here trying to do the same bullshit. Like everybody wants to do this and do that. Like everybody has the same goals as you. So that was like what that really taught me was how to like be responsible, I would say.
That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah, it was super
modeling
cool.
was never in my lane or anything like that. I liked I've always liked radio. And
makes sense with podcasting, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had a radio show at NIU. I went to NIU and I had a radio show for like a semester, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted. But I had a radio show in NIU. Then
sure.
The internet boom happened, and I'm the guy that I should have started doing YouTube and podcasting like from the get go.
Everybody should have, right?
But I kind of was just like, this isn't going nowhere. And then all of a sudden, it's like, take a look. It's like everybody.
Now everyone has a podcast.
Yeah, you need to do it. You need to do it. I should restart my podcast. Jesus, but I don't have time. If I do this YouTube thing,
you got kids, yeah.
Yeah, that, and then a very aggressive goal for myself this year. So,
what's the goal?
Man, dude, I want to do aggressive. Ready? I want to sell 100 houses this year. But the thing is that stepping stones, right? So I should really aim for like 50 houses. My attitude of wanting to sell... So
50 would be 4 a month.
Right.
100 would be 5 Wait, sorry.
I'll call it 8 if you want.
Yeah.
8 a month.
Okay.
Yeah. And the thing is that in the market that we're in right now, for somebody to say I want to sell 50 houses is
no inventory, right?
Yeah, and there's no inventory. So I have a ton of clients right now that if everybody's sold, if everybody who I have pre-approved right now bought a house right now, there was a house for them, I'd be on my way for like past 100.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so leads through social media has been my thing. You saw me on X, which says a lot because most people see me in order from TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, X, and then probably like Snapchat. If anybody's watching Snapchat,
that's funny.
I put everything on Snapchat. But
omnipresence, right? You know Gary Vaynerchuk?
Oh yeah, I know Gary.
Yeah, dude. Gary's like, he's the reason I dropped out of college.
I know, right?
Love that guy, man.
He's the reason why I sold my sofa. You know what I mean? He told me to arbitrage my couch, sit on the floor.
Kid you not? I'm not in college, but I'm working. So I have 5 rental properties. I love investing in real estate.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, second generation. My mom's a big investor. So all the money I make goes directly into real estate. Yeah. I save it, buy more property, save it, buy more property, buy more property, buy more property, right? So I'm like 20, 21 at the time. And I'm in Madison, Wisconsin, and this building did a purge of all their sofas that they owned.
Oh, wow.
So they bought new sofas. So I'm walking, and I'm thinking of Gary Vee. I look to my right. There's like 25 sofas. I'm like, oh, my God, like all that money for free? So I go rent a U-Haul, load up like 5 sofas, as small U-Haul, as many as I could fit in there. And my friend at the time, I had to go to work. I worked at a restaurant. And so I was like kind of doing the real estate thing. And then at night I would work at the restaurant. So I go to work at the restaurant. My friend parks the U-Haul, but doesn't lock the U-Haul. So somebody comes and steals like 2 out of the 5 sofas. So then I'm stuck with 3, but I sold them for like $850 a pop.
Jeez.
I mean, at the time, like at 20, 21 years old, like that's a lot of money.
That's amazing, dude.
That's a lot of money.
What kind of sofas did they have?
Leather sofas. Like we washed them up, like did the whole Gary Vee thing. Like we just did the Gary Vee thing. You know what I mean? Like a garage sale or whatever the case is. But that was a cool moment.
I like watching his videos. It's a good example of the American dream.
Yeah.
The wine company figures out social media, figures out email marketing. Yeah, and then just goes off.
Yeah, he's incredible.
I get text messages just every other day from the guy.
Really?
Yeah, he signed up for his his text message, which is cool, and so I get text messages.
That shit's expensive though. You got to pay per text. I forget how much money it is, but it's like a super phone.
Dude, it's so funny that we're talking about this. Last night, literally, I started this at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 p.m. And of course, I'm 1 o'clock in the morning, bloodshot eyes, but just having the time of my life. I built a system that can automate emails and text messages and web funnels through AI last night.
Nice.
Like a legit application for my phone that I can probably sell.
You code?
No.
How'd you do it? With AI?
With AI. Yeah. I literally
AI
made it
codes
with AI.
for you.
And, dude, man, and I was shocked at how great it worked. You know, now it's something very clear. It's something that anybody can do. My wife's like, don't tell anybody you're doing this because they're going to take your idea. They're going to run with it. You know what?
They're already doing it anyways.
They're already doing it.
There's people way smarter than us.
It's almost like saying you want to lose 100 pounds. You lose 20, great. And then when you get to like 50, all of a sudden it's like, do I really need to keep going? And then if you get to 90, people usually just fall off. They're like, this is bullshit. It's the same thing with anything. So making this app, yeah, it looks good, but how effective does it work? You got to test it.
Yeah.
It's not just you're going to write an app and you're done. It's you really have to be married to it. You can't date it. You got to be married to it. You got to see it through. And even when it's done and it's working, I can already see problems that are going to arise like as I grow, if I am able to sell it to people.
Is that your goal right now?
You know what? I thought about it yesterday, and I was making it for myself. And
to market, right? Like for listings or for buyers,
literally
or
for my own marketing purposes. The code name funnel cakes.
Funnel cakes.
Call it funnel cakes. So I made it, and the idea was just to leave it alone. But the thing is, the whole reason why I made it was because I use HubSpot.
Yep. CRM.
When I use HubSpot, I can send out email automations, but in order to send out text messages, you literally have to go to their $600 package
a month,
which is their marketing hub.
Yeah.
In order to get that one feature. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, I can just send a text message from my phone right now and not have to pay $600 for it to be automated. I can just remember to do it and send it myself. So I just got upset and I started researching. And then there's places like landingpages.com. There's ClickFunnels. There's all these, and they all want at least, let's call it $125 plus to do the simple task of sending emails and sending text messages. And then I have an unlimited text plan on my phone, but they want you to sign up to their texting thing and pair with Zapier. And then, so now you got to get a Zapier account. You got to open up a ClickFunnels account. You got to marry the two. And then you have to find something like Twilio for messages that you integrate with Zapier and tell it to talk to HubSpot. And then you have to, use if you don't like the funnel page or the landing pages that they make in HubSpot, now you got to go and sign up for another account. By the time you're done, you're paying like $200 a month.
Welcome to SaaS, baby. Welcome to SaaS.
Yeah, man.
It's a fucking scam.
It is. It is a scam. It's like
But they have a whole foothold on the market, and of course, unless you're going to code your own stuff you are, which I think we are trending that way with the progression of AI. I think a lot more people.
Nothing is secret anymore, man.
Yeah. Well, thanks Elon for open source everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where all that goes. But it'll be cool if you.
It's going to drive the prices down of everything. Have you ever heard the story?
Deflation.
Yeah. Oh, something like It's like I forgot where I heard this from, but it's like if there's a McDonald's on the corner and they sell 100 cheeseburgers a month, right? 100 cheeseburgers a month at McDonald's. How do they get to the point where they're selling 200? The most likely answer is you market and you try to get more people to show up. But what actually works is you put a Burger King across the street because now there's competition, now there's more traffic, and now they're selling like 150 cheeseburgers, but then so is Burger King across the street, and it's wild. I forgot where I read that, but it made a lot of sense.
Well, I mean, I love you going to like a fast food restaurant now and nobody's taking your order. So, I mean, think of all the savings as a business owner from that standpoint. You have the salary, you have the taxes match, because somebody getting a W-2, you got to match the Medicare, Medicaid.
Yeah.
Like, it's just an absolute mess how expensive people are from a labor standpoint.
Tip culture doesn't help either.
I ain't tipping nothing. Nowhere. Yeah, I'm already taxed.
I feel terrible.
No chance.
But I got
no fucking chance.
What did the other day? My coffee. I got a coffee at Starbucks, literally the guy's like, what do you want? And I'm like, oh, I want this. He goes, okay, great. And then he flips the thing around and it says tip. And I looked at him and I was like, bro, you know I'm going to say
they don't even get that money. You know that, right?
I don't know.
It goes to payroll taxes, I'm assuming.
I wouldn't doubt it, man.
That's why they're striking right now.
Are they really?
Starbucks all over the place right now, especially in Chicago.
Look, I'm gonna say it right now. Pay your employees what they deserve. Tell them not to be asking for tips. That's it. If you're an artist and you're doing something in front of a crowd and you need tips, I understand. If you're an artist that's selling paintings and you're setting a price and this is the price, put the price on the painting and sell it. No, don't ask for tips. Don't do that. If you're a restaurant worker, I feel for you because I get it.
If you're at a sit-down restaurant, you got to tip.
Like
at that point. But if you're going to pick something up or whatever, the
reason why you have to tip is because their pay structure is they get X amount of dollars an hour, which is like super low.
It's less overhead for the business owner.
And then I want to say, because that's common knowledge, it becomes a guilt thing that you have to help pay their employee. Because at the end of the day, if you really ask restaurants to pay their employees what they deserve, half these places will go out of business instantly.
Oh, 100%. Or they would have to charge more for food.
They would have to.
It's going to fall on the consumer regardless, no matter what. It's like properties, right? When you rent the property out and they increase taxes and insurance and water, electric, all those things, it goes to the tenant.
Yeah.
The landlord is not eating those costs because nobody's going to carry a property at a loss. So that's why, I mean, it's the same thing at a restaurant, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think what tipping does to the restaurant is it stops the owner of the restaurant from having to manage their employees to be nice. Because it's like, hey, either I don't have to tell you to be nice because if you're not nice, your customers are not going to tip you.
Yeah.
So now...
And management's a big issue.
Yeah. And now, management's
a nightmare.
There's managers that shouldn't be managers. You know? That's what it is.
A lot of team owners that shouldn't be team owners.
There's a lot of people that should be managers that are not given the opportunity. There's that side of it.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
But I get it. People need to make a living, and I feel for those who have to rely on the tips and tip culture. It's crazy because it rubs people the wrong way. Like you said, we get taxed for everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
I've really built up a callous and no shame. Like I order coffee, or I order a breakfast sandwich almost every day from the coffee shop next door.
Yeah.
I know them. They know me. They know I'm calling. Every time I call, is this Alec? Yes, it's Alec. But I still don't tip.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because by the end of all the taxation that happens in the dollar, like let's say you make $10, right? That's taxed at, I don't know, 20%. And then when you give it to the coffee shop, they're taxed on it. And then it just goes down the line. I'm paying sales tax on it. Like it's just a never ending. So like I've really calloused up a wall towards what people think on if I want to tip or not, because I mean, if you want to stay wealthy, you got to keep your money, and everybody's trying to grab your money all the time. Sell or be sold. Everyone's always selling you all the time, especially in our industry, the real estate industry, whether it be real estate, insurance premiums just like went skyrocketing. Yeah. You want to know what's crazy? What's up? I'm running calculations the other day. Let's say somebody makes $100,000 a year. Sure. Right? They're paying, and let's say their W-2 don't have a match. Or let's say their 1099 don't have a match with their employer for health insurance, and you got a family. Let's say you're paying $1,000 a month for health insurance. Sure. Let's say you have two cars, each paying $100 per month for two cars and auto insurance. So that's up to $1,200 per month. And then let's say you have home insurance. Let's say that's $3,000 a year. So like health insurance would be $12,000. Auto insurance would be $2,400. Let's round it down to $2,000. That's $14,000 per year. Now let's add that home on there. You're at $17,000 on insurance per year. If you make $100,000, you're close to 17% of your annual income. Yeah. You better know how insurance works. If you're spending 10% of your income on anything, think of an investment portfolio, right? Like you better know what that's doing, how to counter it, what coverage to have, what not to have. So like insurance is ridiculously expensive, taxes, all the other things. So it's just crazy, man. Like all the ways that people are trying to take our money. But here we are.
You got to protect yourself with the insurance, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And, I think my dad said it the best. He's like, You pay all this money for insurance and then nothing happens.
Exactly. Who's really using the insurance money?
Where's the money going? And
it's crazy.
For those of you listening, just
such a scam.
Chat GPT that.
It's such a scam.
Go down the rabbit hole of who has the money, what's being done with it.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy. It's I know this is going to sound terrible, but think about what would life be like for insurance companies if we pay you money for the insurance and it's insurance money. You can't put it in an account to bear interest on it. You just have to get to keep the money.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's where they make all their money.
They make it on the insurance.
A lot of insurance companies lose money on the auto insurance. That's their loss leader.
Yeah.
And then the life or investment instruments are where they profit the most.
Yeah, and insurance company wouldn't exist, I don't think, if they weren't able to do nothing with the money.
And we all know that they're doing some shady shit anyways.
Yeah, and who's to tell them what not to do with the money? But at the same time, it's like this is just a reality. Yeah, they get to make money on interest, and
there's a lot of ill or bad involvement in the insurance space too. Like in Chicago, in particular, the mob used to make you have insurance, and if you didn't buy into their insurance, they were coming to burn down your building or your truck or your auto or your vehicle. And this was many years ago, before all of the current things that are going on. But if you look at insurance back from 1300 to 1400, 1300 1400, like back when it first evolved, it was it's just so crazy, and it's such a scam.
It is a scam. Yeah,
I'm an insurance person. It's a fucking scam.
Yeah. But that little CYA, you get into a car accident, you got a new car, and you don't have the money. That's the problem. People don't have the money to pay for the things they break. The insurance comes in, takes care of it, stops you from getting sued.
It's mainly the lenders, though. Right? Because we need home insurance you need home insurance to protect the lender. You need home insurance to protect the car. If you don't have a loan on your car, for example, there's no requirements. And collision comprehensive is the most expensive, and you can wipe that. If you have a 20-year-old car, what are you doing with comp and collision on anyways?
No, you don't need it.
Why you need that shit? No. Your front bumper is going to cost $1,000, but the car is going to be totaled anyways because it's worth $3,000.
I recently switched my insurance.
Yeah.
And my wife has an older car. Yeah. I have a new car. My wife has
Save that money, man.
And she was like, I want full coverage. And I'm like, hold on.
How much is the car worth?
I'm like, do you want it? Do you want it because it's called full coverage?
Yeah.
Or do you want it because you know what the limits of liability actually are, what they're doing for you?
Yeah.
She's like, well, what do you mean? And I go, look, if I go outside right now and I smash the car up with sledgehammer, to buy a new car in the state that it's in is like $3,000 or $4,000.
Exactly.
I'm like, we're gonna end up paying like $2,000 a year for your insurance. Like, why wouldn't we just buy another car at this point?
So many people do that, man. They don't realize how much money they're just kind of throwing away. It's insane. Yeah, we get those calls all the time. It's like full coverage on a 2010.
It's rough out there. Yeah.
So let's dive a little bit more into the real estate and your side of things. Do you own investment properties? You said you're trying to sell 100 homes, but down to 50. Let's talk more about your world, your space.
Absolutely, man. So got the 2 kids.
Yes.
Started real estate, I want to say 10 years ago.
Yeah.
When I was a younger guy, I wasn't the best with my cash.
Sure.
I didn't have the financial education that maybe others do. But I did get to watch a father work his butt off to pay off the mortgage as soon as possible. And I did watch my mom yell at him every time he wanted to swipe a debit or a Visa card to charge something, and it was a big no. We don't do that.
Your mom was the frugal one.
My mom. And,
really?
And
I feel like normally it's the reverse.
Oh, no. I can remember my mom, yelling at my dad, Target's going to close. Hurry. Well, what happened? We got to go put in this $20 in Target now. I don't want it to go. I go, when is it due? In 2 weeks. So I'm like, go tomorrow. What? No. You got to go now. You got to go now. Hey, don't charge anything on the card. What are we doing?
Yeah.
And their credit scores are amazing.
That's awesome.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together, and it was never of, hey, Tony, this is the way you operate credit. Okay. So now, as an older man, we have a 4-unit, and the education that I got out of the 4-unit was we rehabbed just about every unit in that 4-unit when we got it, And literally, the frugal part of my mom showed because I did not want to hire anybody. So I went to YouTube University, and I called upon the Mexican ancestors to help me figure out how to do drywall, to figure out how to do the flooring and taping and the painting and even some electrical. Whatever I can get away with. If the town of Cicero's listening, mind your business.
Yeah, exactly.
But
close those ears.
anything that I can do on my own is that I knew that it was going to be safe and that I can do it well. I did, with the exception of like, what was it? I wasn't going to do demolition. I was like, no, I'm gonna do everything else. I'm gonna pay somebody for demolition.
I can trust somebody with demolition.
Yeah.
How hard is it to fuck up demolition?
And plus, we didn't have drywall, not just drywall on the walls. It was plaster. So we had that heavy, the heavy walls. So I had somebody come and do that. But, we hired somebody to do the tile in the bathroom and plumbing. But as far as everything else was concerned, I mean, my wife has pictures of me like sanding floors. It's like, what?
How'd you learn to do that?
I don't know. I don't like, hey, it's on the internet. You just have to do it. So, my investment has been in time, has been in education, and then in this 4-unit building that we have.
That's amazing.
And and you know what? My kids will be the ones that are more like in your position. Well, they'll have property because the goal, of course, is to buy them property and have them. My kids will each buy them on their own, but we're going to leave them with a couple of pieces ourselves.
That's awesome.
So the goal is I don't need to be the monopoly man or nothing like that. But if I can have 2 or 3 more, and then get each of them to buy as many as they can, show them how to do it every year, every 2 years, and have them be able to change the game for their family, then cool. But right now, I'm in the trenches, building apps and trying to make my life a little easier and trying to have fun with the YouTube channel now. And
for sure,
I want to enjoy my life a little bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I want to enjoy life a little bit. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Nice, man. My brother's 16 and has 2 properties.
Damn.
He's crazy, man.
That's awesome, man.
Well, my mom signed for him, but
of course.
So, yeah, this kid is just gonna be crazy.
What kind of properties does he have?
Single families.
He has 2 single.
They're small. They're small. They're like, I want to say like $200K a pop.
But he's renting them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you guys have to say that he was living in one or what?
He might have done commercial loan. I don't even know. 20% down.
Oh, okay. He could have done a commercial.
Yeah, I'm not sure. My mom signed for him. I don't know exactly like how he has amassed them.
Yeah.
But I know my mom signed for him. My grandma passed away, left him some money, I think, so he bought a property with that.
Oh.
And then I forget what the other one is, but I mean, the kid's 16. By 46, he has 2 paid off properties.
Oh, yeah.
$400K cash in the bank. If there's 0 appreciation, so let's assume, I mean, those could be worth $1 million by the time. They probably will be worth $1 million by the time that kid's 46 paid off.
Set them and forget them.
God damn.
Set them and forget them. You mentioned grandma. How long ago was that?
Long time. Probably like 2-3 years ago.
Okay. Okay. I just lost my grandma like a little bit less than a year ago.
Damn.
So that's fresh, man.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucked. I lost my grandfather like 10 years ago.
Sure.
And for me, I was obviously younger. That was worse. That was worse. Not that
losing your grandpa.
Oh yeah, like the grandpa.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And he's a great guy. Just didn't get a chance to meet my kids, and my grandmother did. Thankfully.
That's the one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like everybody wants him to meet the kids, and then if they don't, it's like, God damn it.
He was spoiling me. I couldn't even imagine. He did get a chance to meet my wife when we were dating once, and then she didn't get a chance to meet him again because he passed.
At least it happened once.
Yeah. And he told her that he was, obviously Mexican from Mexico City. He told her that he was going to take her away to go show her Mexico. Like the first day meeting her, all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're his girlfriend. Oh, I'm going to take you to Mexico and show you Mexico, and we're going to dance, and I'm going to show you this, I'm going to show you that. And the thing was, this is interesting. So, if you look at me, you assume that my Spanish is perfect. I didn't start learning Spanish until I was like 18, 19.
Sure.
So even growing up with my grandfather, didn't speak Spanish, right? But I knew enough just to be, talk to my grandfather. He would talk English to me a little bit. So when my wife comes in the picture, my wife's from Mexico, right? She meets my grandfather, and all of a sudden, it's like two AIs talking to each other.
It's just
Spanish
perfect
is going off, and I'm looking at him like, what are they talking about? And she's like, I talked to your grandfather one time, and I know this, and this. Did you know that? I'm like, I didn't know none of that. He told me everything. I'm like, get out of here. So like even awesome. even that, man, even that is something that a life lesson that time is borrowed, man. And I really wish. And then I lost my uncle. Today is his birthday, which is why I'm recalling all this. And then grandma's fresh. So when you said grandma, you lost your grandma. That was what brought it up. So
yeah,
a lot of healing still going on.
Sure. What are your methods for healing with that?
Man, I think the only thing that you can really do is let time do its thing. Everything heals with time. The body does, and so does the mind. And nothing will ever replace what I had in that situation. The fact that I had your definition grandmother. The grandmother that cooked for you, that defended you against your evil mom. And your dad, and made jokes, and you can just go see her whenever you wanted. The grandma that got old, that you would go and take groceries to and stuff, and call whenever you wanted to talk to somebody that was on your side, and somebody who was comforting. That's what I had.
That's awesome.
That's what I had, man. And now that she's gone, it's just I'm at peace with it, because the way that she went, it was her time. She had dementia, and she was in pain all the time. So seeing her leave for the and knowing that she had a good life and she deserved to go, I think helped. But like to deal with it, you kind of just have to lean on everything that was good. You have to lean on, obviously, the memories. Not to sound like a Hallmark card, but that's literally what it is. The photos and the memories, and I knew it was coming. So whenever I saw her, I would record her, take pictures of with her, and because you could see the writings on the wall. What sucks is that when it's not, and when it's undeserving and abrupt,
sure, and
all of a sudden that's a different kind of pain and struggle. But just with anything, man, time heals, and you just have to believe that that it was for the right reasons. What sucks is regret. Like if I never visited her or anything like that, that's hard. I have people in the family that to this day would be like, man, I regretted not going. I think the lesson here is that before it happens, show up.
Sure.
Even if it's just once, you have to tell yourself, set a standard with yourself and say, hey, you know what? I'm okay if I see this person this many times, and if I say this to them.
It's a really interesting way to think about time. So there's a book called The 5 Regrets of Dying. I forget who it's by, but it's a yellow book, and there's a dandelion on it that's the seeds are blowing in the wind. And she was a palliative care specialist, so she dives into like 5 scenarios about the people that she was taking care of passing away, and about their regrets, about the family, how the family acts when they're passing away. She was talking about somebody that was abusing alcohol when they were passing away. Do you let them drink? Do you not? It's all they want to do. They're going anyways. Like, it's a very in-depth, amazing book. I read it when I was in the military training, and it was super cool. So I lived with my grandma, incredible woman. I lived with her from ninth grade till senior year in high school. So very, very close with her. Incredible woman. But like, I also think experiencing somebody passing away also makes certain things more relevant, like your health, for example.
Yeah.
Like you got like, man, I feel like everybody wants to like be ahead of their time, right? When you're young, all you want to do is be wealthy at the top with living in a mansion, driving a Ferrari or whatever. And maybe that's not the case for everybody. Maybe it's just that you want to have kids in a big family and all of these things. But it takes so long to get that once you're there, all you want to do is be young again, right? So it's like this big circle. Like everybody's trying to like move forward as fast as they can.
That. They say don't grow up too fast. No one really understands what that means until you grow up too fast.
Well, let's say you amass $100 million business, whatever your goals are. Like, you would give up everything majority of the time to go back to when you were young. Like, none of that means anything Alec, do you know Alex Hormozy?
Yeah.
So he says that a lot. A lot of other, Gary Vee says that a little bit. There's a lot of people. So it's like, it's such an interesting thing. Like you start in diapers, but you also end in diapers. Big circle, crazy.
Oh yeah, that's the craziest circle.
It's crazy. It's a crazy circle. You start with your parents taking care of you. You end up taking care of your parents at the end. It's like, what the fuck? Like this is so insane.
I can already see it, man. Like I already know who I'm inheriting in the family because you can see what it is. As a married man, I could see what it is.
Sure. This has been a really interesting thing for me as well. And I don't know if I've figured it out or not. Don't understand it totally. I love my grandma so much.
Yeah.
But I thought I would miss her more.
Sure.
I thought I would think about her more.
Okay.
I thought I would I talked to her a lot. She helped me a lot. Like I said, 9th through 12th grade, every day I lived with her. But life goes on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it stings a little bit, but then it's like, who fucking cares? You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, and maybe that's harsh, maybe that's bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever way you want to judge me for my thoughts and opinions on that, that's fine. But that is another interesting thing. Like when you pass away, there's maybe 3, 4, 5 people that are going to care for a little bit, and then life moves on. Like you see people's partners pass away and they're ending up with somebody else anyways 3 years later. Like how much do you really matter in life?
Yeah.
The answer is not a lot. Even if you're the most successful person, even if you're Gary Vee, Alex Hormozy, Kim Kardashian, like you don't really matter. So I think that that's an interesting kind of realization that has occurred to me after the passing of my grandma. I don't know.
That is interesting.
I don't know.
I think people matter to you as much as you allow them to.
Sure.
You know what I mean? The life lessons you got from her, you know what they are. You can probably point them out and write them out and think about them, but at the end of the day, all that stuff is in your subconscious. I want to believe.
For sure.
And I think maybe all of that's on autopilot. And for me, my grandmother meant everything, but she means everything to me. I might be, and I know this not to be true in the family, but like in my world, my professional world, my friends, nobody knows my grandmother. I do. So do you want to say it's a responsibility for me to remember her? No, I think it's the relationship I had with her was a privilege because not everybody gets that. So because I see the value in it, I'm going to make an effort, to whenever I can to think about her, and not that it's on purpose. It's almost like it's just automatic.
Sure.
What helps a little bit is that in the Mexican culture we have Day of the Dead, and we have we do the what do they call them? We do the altars for our past loved ones, and we put their photos up there, and it's a moment to remember them. And truth be told, I've lost my uncle, my grandfather, my both grandfathers. And whenever we have the Day of the Dead, and we put an altar in the house, or we put up candles and I put their pictures up, I end up fucking being depressed, But I'm depressed because I'm missing what I had as a kid, what was.
Sure.
Because those you'll never get that stuff back.
Sure.
And it's a lot different from. It's interesting.
It probably comes in different forms, like with your kid now, right?
Like I miss my Nintendo.
Yeah.
But I really miss my grandfather.
Sure,
right.
Sure.
I miss the memories. I miss high school, because it was nostalgic to me. I loved high school. I miss
not having responsibilities.
Man, I miss not having. I miss being a kid and stuff like that. So, all of those things you miss them because they're gone and you'll never get it back again. And you know what it means, because now you have to deal with shit on your own, and now there is some responsibility to go out and find new happiness. And so, as adults, it's not as easy to find that new happiness as it is that when you're a kid, because when you're a kid, it's given to you. Now you have to go and do it yourself.
I feel like as a man too, like you got to provide, like you got kids to raise, you got a wife to take care of. Like I think that there's a lot of beauty in the struggle, and like the consistency. Like you have to find happiness in the consistency in the struggle.
Yeah,
I really believe that, and I think that's kind of what I've been working on recently. And if you can't find it there, like I think you're in fucking trouble.
Men get lost.
I think you're in trouble.
Men and women get lost.
I think women get lost in different ways. I just don't know.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you know, I don't know how they get lost. I'm not a woman. I don't know.
It's funny because what we're saying, the statements we're making, we're operating off of the idea that men are supposed to be the providers, and there's a lot of pressure in that title. There's a lot of pressure in that title.
Yes.
And from where I'm coming from, I have that. I have in the back of my mind how hard my dad worked to get me through school.
Sure.
And how hard my mom worked mentally to make sure that I did good in school. But like I can feel my dad's pain.
Oh my God.
When if I'm not doing as hard as I should be doing, number one, it's like, damn, you're struggling. But number two, the bigger kick in the ass is that your dad raised you to be better. And here your dad was a laborer, and he's doing better sometimes than what you are. That's kind of like where I compare myself to. And
you want each generation to be better and better and better. And
so
better.
I use him a lot as like if I'm feeling lazy, I'm like, my dad would have been off this bed already.
Sure.
And I get off the bed.
Sure.
That's the gift I have from my dad. From my parents, both of them.
My mom had me at 18, my sister at 21, so 2 kids by 21.
Sure.
My dad and mom split, never married. My mom is an absolute beast. Raised us, also very wealthy, like a ton of property. I don't know how the fuck she did what she did. I have no clue. And when I was younger, I was successful pretty early on, ran into a lot of money, bought property. I was like, Mom, I'm going to blow you away. That's a
good attitude to have.
And she loved that. Every parent should really love that. But then all of a sudden, you get a little bit older, things start happening. You start learning about okay, what does having a family mean? And all of these things. And now I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm going to beat her. I don't even know if I'm going to catch her. She's rolling right now, So
is your mom single?
Yeah, she's single.
Okay. And you mentioned that you have a girlfriend or you're married?
I'm engaged.
You're engaged?
Yes.
Okay, you're engaged.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's it's just wild. It's crazy.
And there's only you and your sister?
I have a brother who's 16.
Okay.
16.
Okay.
Yeah. Half brother, but brother. I don't want to get into the whole mix and match of things.
So your mom's flying off the Richter now. Just wait until your brother turns 18 and she's like, deal with yourself, and then she's gone. I think she's doing good now. Just wait for 2 years when she don't got to worry about little broski.
She's already wrapping up her business right now. She's starting to slow down on sales and just really.
So she's a realtor, right?
Yeah, she sells a shit ton and then takes all that and buys property. That's her method. That's her madness. She's been doing it for a long time.
And you're gonna. I mean, safe to say, you guys are gonna inherit that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
She's trained you to manage it, though. I'm sure.
So we're family offices. Do you know what that is?
No.
So typically it lasts 3 generations. The family wealth lasts 3 generations before it's pissed away. A family office basically is a structure, kind of like a company, to manage that wealth. It's typically a matriarch or a patriarch that has had a big business exit or has amassed a bunch of real estate. Yeah. I'll send you a link on it, but I think you'd really enjoy looking into kind of that.
Okay, so you're just saying the structure of how you guys are going to manage the wealth of that property.
But it's so we go to events for family offices, and it's just next level thing. It's as high as you can go.
Yeah,
right? Think of institutional
I know what it is.
Money, all those things.
The terminology that you use, I've never heard it that way.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a really fun thing to learn about and look into.
Estate management is probably the way I see it. You know what I mean? And which is a smart thing to do to make sure that the money isn't pissed away.
Yes. And literally last 3 generations, and the majority, 90% of the time it's gone. So it's going to be interesting to see how that unravels. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's going to be very interesting.
Go easy on your kids, but don't,
Yeah.
Because I can only imagine what your kids are going to have to put up with later on, man.
What do you mean?
Hey, Timmy, happy 5th birthday. Why haven't you bought a condo? What? What, Dad? Go to your room. By the way, you owe me rent on it.
You're lazy as fuck.
Lazy as hell.
Get your ass up.
Right? Throw out your own garbage. This association doesn't have garbage services.
What is some advice? So we plan on having kids right after getting married.
Yeah.
what advice do you have for myself, people in the audience, as far as parenting? Like,
you guys out there,
what do you got? What do you got?
Man, first and foremost, make sure that the person that you're with shares the same values as you. And I'm addressing the spouse first, because a lot of this depends on
Totally agree
on your spouse as well. Because I'm gonna raise my kids the way I want to raise them. But if you have somebody on the other side of the table that's pushing the other direction, you're gonna be in trouble. So
see that very often too.
Yeah, make sure
very often.
Yeah, make sure you have somebody who's like-minded, and if there's differences, make sure they're capable of holding an adult conversation.
Yes.
To talk through of why you disagree or agree with what their ideas are.
Are you stricter or less strict than your?
Oh, I'm less strict, and my wife is probably more strict by default than me, but we're not strict the way our parents were. Like when I was younger, if I threw a tantrum at the grocery store, I was getting beat up in aisle 3.
Damn.
You know what I mean? And then when we were in line, and I'm still pouting, my ear was getting pulled, and we got in the car, I was getting smacked from the front seat to the back seat. Just wait till we get home. And then when I got home, she'd tell my dad, and then my dad would yell at me, "Stop making your mom mad." And then go to sleep. And the next morning, "Good morning, Tony. How are you?"
like nothing happened. Like, what the fuck? This is trauma.
I packed my bags. I guess I'll unpack.
I'm leaving.
So yeah, I'm leaving on my own. Right.
That's so funny.
So first and foremost, just make sure that you're on board and on the same page with your spouse. So secondly, like as a dad, it's different with I hate to say that it's different with the son and daughter,
yeah.
but it just is, the demographic is just a little different because it depends on them. I want to say we raised my son and my daughter both the same way, but these kids are nothing alike. I don't have to ask my son for straight A's. I didn't have to ask him to go get a job. I didn't have to ask him to join any clubs at school.
Those are all great signs.
This kid came home. Great signs. This kid came home a week ago going, "Dad, I got a job." And I'm like, that's what I did. I went home when I was 13 and I was like, "Dad, I got a job." Same thing. He did it without any of us knowing. He goes,
it's a dream come true.
He goes, "Hey, I applied to be a computer aide for the school. So now when summer kicks in, he's got a computer job that fixing computers or helping teach the class or something like that." But he's 15. He's going on 15. He's 14. He's going on 15. Now, and he's the one that's like, "Hey, I want a car." Okay. My daughter is 17, and my son goes in front of her, "Yeah, I got a job." She goes, "That's great." And he turned to her, and I go, "What are you going to do?" Like, "Dad, why are you bothering me about that?" I'm like, "What do you mean? Don't compare me to him. I'll get a job when I'm ready." And I'm like, "I'm not asking you to get a job. I'm just asking what are your plans to get the job."
What is your wife like? Is she like motivated, like going to get a job, or is she pretty laid back, not really interested in like?
She's a realtor, so her strength in real estate is paperwork, finding the house. It's even on some level negotiating and making sure that all the rules are followed. I'm the marketing guy, which I'll go out and I'll find business, and she finds business on her own, but I can generate business. I can go online. I mean, you found me online, and I have an knack for having people interested. I have a knack for getting people to listen to advice. And
so you kind of get the business, and she kind of takes care of the business.
The business. We'll both work it. We put it in a CRM. Yeah. We'll assign each other files based on what we feel. I don't know if you're familiar with DISC training.
Oh yeah, the personality
training. Yeah. Like I'll say, it's probably best that you work with this person, and then we'll divvy out clients like that. But that's how she is, and then. I'm a little bit more with the kids lenient. So with my daughter, the big struggle that we have right now is if I push her, instead of like her being led to,
she retreats.
She retreats.
Yeah, bro.
And it's hard, but at the end of the day, you have to remember that I'm not going to penalize her for that because that's who she is. It's not that she's being an ass. It's that that's who she is. The trick now is being able to get her to admit what she likes, because the minute that she admits that it's her idea and she can It's like Inception. I have to Inception my daughter. If that go and get in her mind, make her believe that it's her idea, and all of a sudden it's in her mind and it's over. She's gonna do it. So I'm currently in the process of doing the old Inception.
It's a little bit frustrating though, isn't it?
Of course it is. Of course it is. But I mean, this is me doing my dad job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no other way around it.
Yeah, no, there's not.
But you wish it were a different way, but it's not. The reality is it's not.
And if you ignore it and say, "Well, fuck it, I'm not gonna deal with it," then you end up getting, what you get. I could leave her alone right now and know that she's gonna grow up to be a good person. But if I leave her alone now, besides being a good person, she's gonna grow up to be stubborn, and she's not gonna know how to handle business. She's not gonna know how to command a room. My daughter's 4'6" or something like that, 110 pounds wet.
Sure.
She's going to walk in one day to an office with a guy that's 6 foot, whatever you are, 6 foot 9.
6'1", 6'2",
something like that, 17 foot 3, whatever the hell you were when I walked in, and who owns 17 properties, and has, his kids own properties, and she's not going to be able to hold a conversation with you.
Sure.
You know what I mean? She's not going to be able, everything she says is going to sound, off-putting because she has no idea what she's talking about.
Sure.
So that's why I'm making sure that I intervene. I'm intervening now, as rough as it is. I need to get her prepared to have conversations with guys like you and with women, who are high value people.
Yeah.
A lot of the most high value people that I've met don't have degrees. They've been very successful in business, and they're no BS people, and they know how to get stuff done. They understand how the world really works, It's like you can take a lot of these college graduates here and stick them in a country like Mexico, send them to Canada, send them to Spain, or send them to wherever. They're not going to make it. Because unless they go and they're able to get a cush job and their degree actually holds weight, like they're a doctor or they're an attorney and they can do things that your regular person can't. Go figure out how to survive on your own without your degree. Go run a business on your own, manage the money, figure out where to get investments from, and what kind of product to sell. When the product's not selling, understand that you got to either change the product or ditch it, and then rebrand something new, and eat and make sure that you're eating and take care of yourself. And it's like you don't learn that in college. You don't learn it. Now I'm not pooping on any people that went to school, but just for me, the reality and the life lesson has been you need to be able to take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. And you got to be able to do it with a degree. You got to be able to do it without a degree.
Exactly.
And without a degree, there's going to be a lot of life lessons, but I think those are the ones that are going to burn into your brain. Yeah. Because the reality is there.
Everything comes from like adversity or tough times. Like if you just have this perfect life, like what are you using to pull motivation from? What are you using as like your why? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I feel like a lot of like from the sewers, right? Like you talk about David Goggins' book, he talks about going back to the sewers of his brain and all these things. Like he doesn't want to go there, but sometimes he has to get the motivation to do all the crazy shit that he does. And it's very interesting.
Yeah. I keep hearing on the internet, I don't know why, maybe it's a trend right now, but it's like, why not you? Why not you? Why can't you be the person to do this? Why can't you be the person to do that? And I think what the internet has done, what technology has done, it's uncovered the possibility that you can literally do anything. The thought of us not being special enough comes from the fact that people were just gatekeeping the way to do things, gatekeeping the ideas and making everything look like it was extravagant. For George Clooney to be George Clooney, you have to have a special agent. You have to know certain somebody in Hollywood. You got to sleep with a certain right person, get the right script, know the right director. Now, if you're as good as George Clooney, you open up TikTok and you make a couple TikToks.
Exactly. The internet like really opened up a lot of doors. It took away a lot of the gatekeeping.
And I love George Clooney, man. I'm just using him because he's famous.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise. Yeah. It's another story.
You know what's great? George Clooney, The Rock, Terramana, the alcohol brands that they create.
Yeah.
Talk about ridiculous opportunity and amounts of money and valuation and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like overnight, multi-billionaires.
Oh yeah,
it is Casamigos.
It's their brand. Their branding's on point.
It's an interesting space. Like it's called the vice, like the vice industry, which would be alcohol, tobacco, marijuana. Like the vice. It's a very at the family offices, they talk a lot about investing in the vice.
Yeah.
One other interesting thing that I think for you as a realtor that's going to be coming up here is so obviously you get institutional buyers, Blackstone, BlackRock, fucking all these syndicates, all these fund managers buying all the real estate, right? Which has shot up prices, right?
Right.
The average person is not going to be able to buy a home in 10 years. Zero, never in their life. It's just not going to happen. It's going to be impossible. So PE is really eating up kind of now the real estate space as an alternative investment, but private credit is their next approach and their next attack point. And what I mean by that is you talk about Fannie Freddie. Trump has been discussing redoing Fannie Freddie, getting rid of it, making changes, right? We're going to see, like, are you familiar with DSCR, bank statement loans,
Yes.
all those good things, right? So that's direct to consumer. That's private investor money going direct to consumer. And we're going to see a massive shift, in my opinion, and kind of what's been talked about out there with funds offering private credit. So I think you're going to start seeing a lot more. It might be a couple of years yet, but I really think it's going to happen. But a lot more bank statement, DSCR loans, just hard money, private hard money. It's going to be interesting. I really think that's going to be interesting.
It's an interesting thought, and that's because the Fed's not going to be able to get the rate under 10, or what?
Fed's not high interest rate certainly helps, but also like all the stuff that's going on with like 1099 people don't want to pay taxes.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you want to go run a bank statement loan and pay 4% more interest than you could on a Fannie Freddie loan, but not pay any taxes, the trade-off is almost a wash and you're still not paying taxes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of people are kind of catching on. The internet has opened up, taken away gatekeepers, opening up the tax code.
Yeah.
People are figuring out how to structure their taxes, how to take deductions, cost segregation studies. People are ripping cost seg studies on property, it's insane. So property taxes are getting higher, bigger deduction. Like insurance is getting more expensive, bigger deduction. Mortgage interest, deduction. So it's just like all of these things kind of combining. I mean, if they get rid of income taxes altogether, which it could potentially happen, I don't know if it actually will, but what the hell is Fannie Freddie going to base things off of that?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like, Fannie and Freddie is literally based for the taxpayer.
Yeah.
It's insane. If you don't pay taxes, you're not getting a Fannie Freddie loan. So you got to go alt. So I don't know. I'm excited to see where that goes. I think it's a very interesting approach. I think it's a wash, not paying taxes to paying high interest rates, and I think a lot of people are willing to take that leap and get some property.
That's awesome.
What's your thoughts on that? Do you have any ideas? Where do you see the market going? Like, what do you see changing in real estate moving forward?
Well, the problems that we have right now in my market is being able to
what's your market? Like, I know Chicago, but like give me like a breakdown.
So, okay. The majority of the clients that I work with right now come from your lower to middle class family, people who are buying houses that are cost between, I don't know, $200,000 to maybe $450,000 houses. And that also goes for like multi-units. So in the realm in the industry right now, the problems that I'm dealing with are people that want they want loans, but they don't claim their taxes.
Exactly.
Okay,
that's what I just talked about.
That's one. Right now, with them taking away the ability for DACA people not to be able to get FHA loans on May 25th,
it's big.
That's an issue, and it's a weird one because by the numbers, and this is I'll put, I don't know. Tell me if you knew this. Tell me if you've heard this anywhere, and this is gonna walk right into a point of mine. In the United States, if you were to take all the Hispanics, all the Latinos, and put them all together with and with all the money that they have accumulated, they would be and have them declare themselves their own country, they would be the 5th largest GDP in the world. Okay, that's operating within the United States by themselves. Okay. But then you look at people that have DACA, people that are dreamers, people that have visas. By the numbers in the United States, they pay their mortgages on time better than your regular average American U.S. born citizen.
I think like the work ethic that,
and the fear that the government's going to come and take your money because they're DACA or they're a dreamer plays a part in that too. So they make sure they pay their mortgages on time.
Sure.
In the grand scheme of things.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
In the grand scheme of things, and this data, if anybody wants to fact check it listening, the Hispanic Wealth Project, you can chat GPT this or go to their website. This is all data that they ascertained from banks and stuff. So it's not just somebody making it up. It's like, this is just factual. If you're DACA, you probably pay your mortgage better.
What is DACA?
DACA is a dreamer, somebody who is granted the ability to be in the country, maybe because they're going to
Green
school.
card?
Okay. Yeah. And they are not U.S. citizens, but they're dreamers, and they have an opportunity to be in the United States because of school, perhaps, and they're here. They pay their mortgages better than your regular U.S. citizen. Okay. Now, if you are the whole thing about make America great again, and if you are all about let's treat America like a business, you don't cut off the supply from your best paying customers. Doesn't make sense. It's like if Chase Bank's like, yeah, there's a group of people that are paying their mortgages super well. We don't want to do business with them anymore. Let's do business with everybody else, and which is fine because you're your regular U.S. citizen, of course, they're paying the mortgages. They're struggling just like everybody else. They're doing great. But there is a group of people that are getting cut off. So I'm dealing with issues like that. So now they have to buy their houses way quicker. They have to settle on houses they wouldn't have normally have pulled the trigger on, and they have to do it by May 25th if they're FHA, or else they're going to lose ability.
Accept an offer by May 25th, I'm assuming.
Yeah, they're
or closed by May 25th.
Well, their file has to get they
clear to close.
Clear to close, or they call it their doc. Their doc number has to be approved before the 25th of.
If you're listening, you're hearing this.
Go buy your house, and what I really mean by that, if you're a dreamer,
what's your phone number?
Oh, my phone number is 708-205-7121. But if you're a dreamer, if you have a visa, or if you're DACA, go get your house right away. Buy whatever you can, because you may not have an ability to do that for the next couple of years unless they get savvy to like, hey, what the hell are we doing? It doesn't, like, I'm sure that somebody can debate me on why they're doing it. Oh, they're not citizens, or oh, this or all that. I get that. But at the same time, if we're running a business here, you don't cut off your best paying customers.
So DACA can't go Fannie Freddie?
No, they can do conventional. Though right now they can go FHA, or they can go conventional.
I've never understood.
On the 25th, they're cutting them off.
I've never understood why people push FHA over conventional. It's 3.5% or 5%, and 5%. Like, why the fuck are people going to find FHA anyways? And then you got the inspection, and then you got PMI for the life of the loan potentially. Why not just save up an additional 1.5%?
It's because the majority, I want to say, is going to be.
Bad credit.
From where I'm sitting,
bad credit.
Yeah, in the world that I'm in, the majority of the people out there that I see, whether they're from the south side or the north side, nobody has 20% laying around. No, not everyone's credit is over 640, 670.
That's the thing, because FHA goes down to 580.
If FHA now, you can pay 10% down on an FHA loan between 500 and 579.
500?
570, 500 to 579. Shit. 10% down.
Yeah.
Now, we'll talk about that in a second. 580 and up to whatever, you can get an FHA loan at 3.5% down.
At that point, go conventional and save up 1.5% additional.
You could, if you can. You could do that, but at the same time, your interest rate on a conventional is higher than what is an FHA.
But you have PMI and FHA.
But that's the thing, including PMI. If you do the math, sometimes it's like, what's going on? There's people that have fantastic credit that are getting higher rates than people who have terrible credit. You need to, and I'm telling you, Chat GPT fact check me on that. It's the truth.
No, I believe you.
It's the truth.
Sort of bullshit that we would do.
So it's like, yeah, you got better credit, but you're still going to pay more than me. It's there in the long term, because here's the reality of it. Just because your credit score is 800 doesn't mean you can afford to pay your mortgage loan off in 5 years and save all the money. They still got you for 30 years, and in the first 11 years, they get more than 50% of the interest. You're still going to pay that. You're still paying that mortgage. It's just you get to walk around saying that your credit score is 800, and now you got a credit card that maybe has like a $20,000 limit versus somebody who's struggling with a 300, whatever. But, some of the poorest people end up saving the most money, and, and there were just people find themselves in debt later on. But
yeah, it's really like, it's a by case basis. Totally.
Yeah. So the people that have, 500 credit scores to 579, sometimes it's not necessarily because they're terrible at paying their bills. Some of these people are running around with one credit card with a $500 limit that have been taught not to ever swipe their card, and just to pay everything cash. And they don't know any better. Yeah, they don't buy
no car loan,
no car loan,
personal
nothing.
loan,
They go buy a used car, and and they won't.
And that's a way to live.
That is a way to live.
The credit system is,
but it limits
against us.
The credit system limits you.
Yeah. They want you to have lines open when you don't necessarily need lines open. Like, debt is not necessarily the best route to go, but if you don't have a car, a home, and a credit card for all three lines, diversity, like, you're getting dinged on that. Like, there's a bunch of different other shit but it's like, buy the car in cash and then stretch out a $1,000 car loan over a 5-year term just so you have the car line open and that you're hitting it.
I'm good. Man, that's
it's interesting.
Yeah, that's literally.
It's consumerism at its finest.
Yeah. So my client base is that, but at the same time, I also have the clients that are nurses, that are attorneys.
They do great. Nurses do great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Man, if you're
a lot of nurses buying property.
Yeah. If you're in real estate, if you're a nurse and you get your offer letter, you don't even have to start work. You can actually get your nursing degree and start looking for a job and call me and be like, I want to buy a house, and I can get you with a bank that'll say, get me their certification or their transcripts, get me an offer letter from their job, and we're just going to give them a loan.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean? And that's because that profession is in such demand.
It's good
to do that.
Physicians loans too. Yeah, that shit's good. Interesting, man.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot of those opportunities unless you have those kind of professions, unfortunately. But it just makes sense. Everyone wants to make sure that the loan that they're given is procured correctly and people can afford the payment. And, affordability is a big issue. Inventory is a big issue. The affordability thing is because the prices of the properties just have been driven high, and the interest rates being at 6.5%, 6.25% are not necessarily helping. But I think what's going to happen is prices are going to have to come down. People who thought that they were buying into a house and being able to ascertain all of this value and equity just because of they're holding it, they're going to keep some of that. But there also is going to come to a point where they're going to have to sell those properties, and they're going to have to come to terms where they're going to have to sell them for lower than what they expected.
I disagree.
Because people aren't going to be able to afford houses.
I disagree, but it's a PE play. By PE, I mean like private equity. I disagree. It's going to be interesting. You see, I respectfully disagree.
No, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I think that everybody thought that the market was going to crash for the past 2 years. You know what I mean? Interest rates were up, and now we're not printing all this money, and now we got so and so in office cutting all this extra fluff out of the budget. Like, it's. I really just think that average normal people are fucked. I'm 100%.
And that's the whole thing. Where I'm operating from, my clients are average normal people.
They got about 5 years left.
Yeah, they got
5 fucking years,
so
man.
When I'm talking about affordability, if they want to buy a house that costs $400,000, but the pre-approval only says $370,000, and 50 people go to see a house, and 25 people like the house, 15 people write an offer on the house, that homeowner is going to be sitting at the table looking at going, hey, how much should we market this for? Oh, it's on the market for $400,000. Well, why do all these offers say $380,000? The highest one we got here is $382,000. It's not because people aren't willing to pay the $400,000. It's because, number one, the realtors probably think it's not going to value at it.
Appraise.
Appraise value at it. And number two, the most important one, they probably are stretching the limits of how much their pre-approvals are for anyway. That's why I'm saying I think a lot of people are going to be in trouble, and they're going to have to drop to $385,000 just to get rid of the thing. and then go buy the next one, and hope to God that the rates come down, and you're able to do the whole thing again, where you buy something cheap, and then you get to sit on it until you build some equity in it.
It's crazy qualifying for a loan too, right? Let's say you have a payment of $5,000 a month on a property. Probably something like you said, $400,000 property, 10% down. Maybe you're at 5,000, some between 4 and 6,000, I would say, somewhere in there.
For a property of how much?
400,000.
A 400,000.
10% down.
10% down. Your mortgage payment is probably like $3,000.
3?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
No way, bro.
Yeah. I can mortgage.
Do a mortgage calculator.
I got a mortgage calculator right here.
Rip a mortgage calculator.
You said 400,000, right?
400,000. I think it's 5,000.
Let's see.
But you got to have the taxes at
what?
At what they are.
But where?
So what is it, like 2%?
Where? Okay, give me an area.
Shit, I don't know. Your market.
Okay, my market. Okay, if you're in Chicago and you live on the south side, let's say your property taxes are $6,000. If you go on the north side, let's say they're 7 or 8.
Yeah, I was gonna say 400,000 should be like $8,000 up here, but use 6. Just use 6.
All right, let's take a look at this, everybody. Mortgage calculator. How much is the house?
400. 10% down.
10% down.
PMI 0.5.
What's the rate?
What do you think it is right now? What are you seeing? 7.2.
No, 6.25.
That's buying a bunch of points.
No, I got loans that are 6.25.
How are they charging you on that?
Not me, the clients.
They're running discount points. Just use 6.5.
We'll use 6. Yeah, we'll use 6.5. Property tax. What do we say?
I think you said 6.
6,000. Okay. Homeowners insurance. What would you like that to be, my friend?
On a 400, put 1,500.
That's what I got in here.
You said 3,000. I said 5,000.
What is that number, sir?
3,050. 3,000. You're exactly right.
3,050.
Is that mortgagecalculator.org?
Mortgagecalculator.org.
That's a good one.
Yeah, brother. Because
damn, you're right.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, it's what I do. So I'm always calculating mortgage payments. So your house would have to be $650,000, I want to say, in order for your property to be a $5,000 payment. I'm assuming.
Nah, because taxes would be like 10, 11K at that point, $1,000 a month almost.
So a 650. Okay, yeah, and that's accurate. So $650,000 property with 10% down. The property tax is currently $6,000. You're at $4,500. So making the property tax, call it $7,500. I think that'll put us right in the sweet spot. So that payment is $4,691.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 4,700.
So yeah.
So 650 would be 5,000 a month.
Yeah, about 650.
So let's say you're paying 5,000 a month.
Yeah.
You have to make 10,000 a month to even qualify because you're not getting. You might get like 55% DTI.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
so
and
it's
what
like
kind of professions pay you $10,000 a month?
Exactly. That's 120,000 a year.
You're probably a police officer making 120. Something like that. Maybe you're in the professional industry. Maybe you're working in finance or something.
So let's go back to the $3,000 a month. You have to be making $6,000 a month, which is $72,000 a year.
Yes.
And you can do combined, like his and hers, or husband, wife, whatever the case is. But that's like it's getting up there for a lot of people.
It's getting up there.
It's getting up there for a lot of people.
Yeah, and you got to think about it like this too. A household can technically make $72,000, right? $100,000. But both people on the loan need to have good credit. They both have to be able to qualify for it.
You got to take down the car loan if there's a car loan.
That nobody has a car with a $550 payment. You got to hope to God that they only have one at that. You have to hope that they didn't have a late payment on anything. I mean, your average consumer, man. It just is. It is what it is. You know what's happening a lot in the South Side and in like places like Berwyn, Riverside, Stickney, Lyons. There's people that live here on the North Side because right now we're in Uptown. Their mortgages are $600,000 with $8,000 in taxes, and they're living in like 900 square feet of space. But then if you go to find a house in Berwyn for $400,000 that's just been rehabbed, and the property taxes are the same, but the purchase price is $400,000 and everything's rehabbed, and the square footage is on the first floor $1,400, and then you have their second floor, with like 800, and then there's a full basement that's not included in the square footage, but it happens to also have 1,400 square feet with a yard. They're leaving and they're buying in Berwyn. Berwyn, a couple of years ago, Berwyn was putting billboards everywhere.
I had a Mexican guy on here yesterday from Berwyn.
Yeah,
you might know. He and the reason being is he's in the social media space. He's got a podcast. Tony something. I forget what his name was, but anyways, I'll tell you after.
Later, yeah.
But he's like big, and the reason I say you might know it because he does podcasting and like he's kind of in the real estate space, and it was a good podcast. But anyway, sorry.
He's a realtor.
Yeah, but he was just talking about Berwyn, and I don't know.
Did he come in a suit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who he interviewed.
Yeah. See, I knew you knew.
I did a deal with him.
Is he cool?
He's cool. I mean, I don't know him personally. I can pull him up. He's kind of dark skinned like me. Has nice hair.
Yeah, he's like parted.
He probably had a
really nice suit.
And if he's listening, he had a fancy watch. Yeah. So he does a lot of social. She does a lot of social media.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to say, and this is
his name's Tony, right?
His name's Tony.
Yeah.
His name's Tony. He positions himself as a luxury agent, and he carries himself that way, and that's a big.
That's an important thing.
Yeah, that's a big like my hat off to you, because
do you smoke cigars at all?
I do,
dude. So does he. So do I.
Yeah,
we should all get a fucking cigar.
Yeah. I had one deal with him, and it went great.
That's awesome.
It went fine. But yeah, he's a nice guy. That's interesting that you interviewed that guy. Yeah, he's a cool guy.
That's small world.
He's a small world, man. But in that market though, it's like. I can probably assume who I'll send you some. Actually, I'll send you somebody that you can probably call and get to interview next.
I would love that. I would really appreciate.
Yeah, I'll get you a referral. I'll get you somebody.
You're episode 34, and I used to live in Miami, Florida. Actually,
okay.
I still have a house down there. Kind of doing a little bit of back and forth, but mainly here, and. There's been only 3 episodes here, so I'm just kind of getting it up and rolling here.
Ah, yeah, you were telling me something about that.
Yeah, but 34 episodes in, and I love it. I just love talking. Like I've learned a lot from you. It's very interesting here, like the parenting situation that you're going through. Because I'm looking forward to having kids, so I'm taking that and learning from it. Obviously talking all the real estate stuff, so it's like it's fun, man. It's good shit.
Your kids are gonna grow up to be whoever they're going to be, no matter what you do.
Despite what you want for them.
You're like the bumpers at the bowling alley. That's what you are.
Guiding them.
The ball's gonna hit the pins. You want them to hit all the pins, but they might end up just hitting the corner. Whatever. As long as they don't end up in the gutter, man. That's that's your job. Keep them out of the gutter.
That's so funny.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. Well, do you want to wrap it up here? I think it's been an incredible podcast.
Man, it's been good, man. We gotta do part 2.
We'll do part 2. Let's give it a couple weeks and then run it back.
Yeah, we'll run it back.
And we're gonna get a cigar too.
Brother, we gotta do that.
Where do you go for cigars?
You know what? There is a cigar lounge on North Avenue.
What's it called?
That I like to go. I think it's literally the North Avenue Cigar Lounge, unless it has a fancy name. Honestly, dude, I googled it. Said cigar lounge. Okay. You know what?
I went to Biggs.
It's good. Is? No. You know what? Hold on. Just in case this gets to them, I don't want to do that to them. It's good. It's a good place.
Okay.
There's not many cigar lounges between here and where I live. Besides,
there's not many cigar lounges in Chicago in general.
No.
Miami, every fucking.
Oh, I know. I've been to Little Havana. What is it called? Little Havana? Is that what it is?
Little Havana, yeah.
Little Havana, and then what's the other place that you guys got down there in Miami? Or is it Little Havana?
Little Cayocho is like Little Havana, but like, I mean, so I went to Biggs. And the ventilation system was not that great. So I'm like smoking and trying to breathe at the same time. I'm like, all right, fuck this. I'm going to go sit outside. Sitting outside for members only.
Cigar and breathing. It's an oxymoron.
The outside was for like members only. I'm like, oh, okay. Like,
yeah, that's annoying,
but
man.
I still sat there. They didn't yell at me. I was like, okay. And it was warm out, so I was comfortable with it. I haven't smoked a cigar since winter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I went there. It was like super mediocre. So I'm really on the hunt for like a nice cigar lounge. I love like big, comfy chairs, like just fucking chilling with a bunch of guys.
A really nice
smoking
cigar
a cigar, dude. It's like so good.
Okay. So the cigar lounge on North Avenue, we should go. You would enjoy that. It's a vibe. You know, the chairs are old. They need to, you know.
But it's comfortable?
It's comfortable.
Okay, that's all that matters.
There's a cigar lounge in LaGrange. When you get a chance, Google that one, the cigar lounge in LaGrange. That one is a decent cigar lounge.
Okay.
It's nice.
Interesting.
It's nice. But the one in North Avenue, it's comfortable.
Okay. Well, we'll have to run it up. But thank you so much for coming in, man.
Thanks for
It was
having me,
great.
man.
Great talking with you.
Yeah,
Had a
man.
blast. Thank you so much.
Same here, man. Same here.